I've already said a lot of things about Eddie Murphy, none too pleasant. Although I hear he said worse things about me, being Lucifer Star and everything, and probably wanted to kill me at some point in time, without even knowing me. Like I say, quite a few unsettling things came out about him. I knew about some of them, and apparently he was lying and just fucking with me. Like I said, he was a really huge heroin junkie. I mean, huge. He came over from Africa, and apparently he had a little thing going over there, maybe, and then he had a little thing going on over here, and then apparently he worked his way up, and then started going after people, rich people, and stuff like that. And basically, like I say, not exactly a good person. But he was a heroin junkie, and he got cut off from Africa or something like that. And basically, when he picked up his news source, basically I was paying him to pretty much go become a father figure to people, which was actually ended up being my mistake because nobody wanted to work with him, and he wasn't a father figure at all. In fact, he was a psychopath, they said. And I don't know. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but apparently I guess I was wrong. Anyway, maybe. But anyway, though, but still, I had him doing some things for me because if he wanted his drugs, he was going to have to do. If he wanted his drugs or his money, he was going to have to do things for me. So I had him trying to become a better father or a better mentor or a real mentor, trying to clean him up. I don't think it worked. I really don't think it worked. Anyway, though. But anyway, like I say, I mean, we tried to clean him up, but I don't know. Maybe you just can't. I don't know. Anyway, though, I did the best I could. Other people did the best they could, and I don't know. Anyway, like I say, I don't know. I mean, there were stories about him trying to kill me or wanting to kill me, except, like I said, I didn't do drugs when I was 9 years old or 10 years old. So he couldn't exactly give me a line of cyanide. So that was out. So I guess he had to learn, but he didn't know how to shoot at the time, so he had to learn how to use a .22, which I think he left it in Richard Pryor's house or something like that, or some other house, or Robin Williams' house. I don't know. He left it. That's his .22 that they talk about when they say they found a .22, blah blah blah, in someone's house. That's Eddie Murphy's .22. He may be named, his real name might be Jerry. It's hard to say, though, exactly what his name is. Because, I mean, he basically came from Africa, so, there's no birth records over there, so who knows who he is. Or even if he's the same Eddie Murphy that he used to be. He might be a completely different black guy for all we know. But basically, yeah, he's very unknown, and according to other people, like he likes to fuck with people and likes to take things or whatever. But then again, the black people, I don't know why exactly. It's kind of funny. It's like, I am your creator, Lucifer Star. The creator. Look it up. Ask around. Ask another planet. Ask another galaxy. The galaxy that's coming towards us, and this galaxy, which is the Milky Way. I named it. And I probably named that other galaxy coming out after us. M something, I think, or something. I don't know what I called it, actually. Or I thought this one was MC something or other. I had a different name for the galaxy, actually, and then I changed it to the Milky Way because I liked the Milky Way better. Also because I had a cereal company and a milk company or something like that. I don't really know the exact details of it. But basically, yeah, and the other galaxy coming, I mean, I knew that these two galaxies were coming together over the last 100 trillion years, just like I knew that they were once 100 trillion years apart when they began their life cycle, you could say. They began 100 trillion years apart, and they're coming together, and basically they've been collecting. It's also an experiment to see how many molecules will be collected or increased in 100 trillion years. Two galaxies started creation about the same time apart, and 100 trillion years of distance. So it'll take 100 trillion years for them to come together. So that's why it's called an LS space clock, because it's, of course, most people say, what's LS? LS, Lucifer Star, 100 trillion years apart, also known as Brian. 100 trillion years apart, and then began creation, blah, 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 blah. And then one is positive, one is negative, because I'm trying to get them to close together. See, space, other than, it's not very much. So basically I was trying to get them to come together. and hopefully pass by. Like I said, it's supposed to do a giant pass by, so we can go, oh, look at that, because it's a commemoration, because I have, I built 80 other galaxies, and it's like, I want to see the galaxies just basically, because like Lucifer Star, LS, aha, galactic flyby. I'm the only one who has ever attempted it. I'm the only one who ever was crazy enough to attempt a galactic flyby of two galaxies moving together. Anyway, someone said they're actually going like this, which would be bad. They're supposed to be spinning like this, but I don't know. They're supposed to spin like this, but someone said they're actually maybe they're coming like this. But it's hard to tell, it's still like 680 billion years away. So, and like I said, it took a while for it. The 100 trillion years is basically, it takes a while for it to get moving. And then once it gets moving, it's moving really fast, theoretically. And that's another thing. It's like, how much pull does gravity actually give? Or whatever give. Anyway, like they said, gravity wasn't enough to pull them. See, gravity, gravity wasn't enough to pull them, so I think I had to do reverse, like one's negative, one's positive, or something like that. I think that's what I did. I did negative, whatever, and positive, whatever. I'm not exactly sure, because it was 100 trillion years ago. Anyway, so they're supposed to, like, be, they're supposed to, like, cruise and be building in particles, and then they're slowly supposed to start to get closer and closer and closer and closer, and right next to each other. Right next to each other. It's like, actually it goes like this, like that, something like that. Yeah, like two plates passing each other was the whole idea. Two giant saucer plates going. Someone always thought that the galaxies were like these big balls, and it's like, no, they're not balls. They're actually more like thin dishes, because they're spinning around. I mean, you could do it like this too. You could do a couple like that, so you could have all different orbits and everything. But that's like, are you nuts? Like, so it's better to go. It's not okay, because there have been like no, what's going this way? So that's not a very good idea to do. It's better to have them like one after another one, and then all spinning in a ring. And that's another reason why this is more of a ring than anything else, because I'm trying to get a galactic flyby, and a galaxy, because it's so big, if it was timbered in, it goes, right? The left wing is going to touch our right wing. And, once you start touching, because they're spinning, so I think we're spinning. I think we're spinning. So, like, so we're not just floating, I don't think. So, so basically, they can't really be all that thick. They have to be thin. So I was planning this like 12 trillion years ago. I was planning this like 90 trillion years, 80 trillion years ago. I was like, hey, let's do this. I'm going to do this. I want to do this. So we started work, and we started doing it. And besides, everyone's like, well, how much time has passed in space? How do you know how much time has passed in space? Nobody knows. Nobody knows how many years has passed. Nobody knows how long it's passed. Nobody knows how much matter there is in the world, or how long it took to get that matter. So the theory is that we started building these two galaxies, and theoretically it's 100 trillion years of particle creation. This one was started 100 trillion years ago, and this one was started 100 trillion years ago. Or I started one and then traveled to the other one. And that's another thing. Is how do you get 100 trillion years from one place to another place? So anyway. So, it's all in the science, anyway, it's all in the science, besides light travel and all that. So we started these two galaxies creating, and besides, time travel. So we started these two galaxies creating 100 trillion years apart, and then they would just sit there, and then they would slowly start to move together. And so it's been doing that.